Throughout the years, Vice President Joe Biden has used a single word to denigrate his former adversary Donald Trump while simultaneously demonstrating his own commitment to the political tradition of the United States: "You can't love your country only when you win." The remark took on a fresh significance when Vice President Joe Biden announced on Thursday that he had lost the election for Vice President to Donald Trump from the Rose Garden of the White House. "We are no longer Biden is currently overseeing a transition back into office by a man whom he once believed to be an existential threat to democracy. He is doing this while wagging his fingers at a vanquished challenger who refuses to admit his loss." In his first appearance on camera since Donald Trump's resounding victory over Kamala Harris, Vice President Joe Biden addressed words to the nation on Thursday. These statements were delivered in response to the election results. Near the beginning of the piece, he made the statement that the will of the people always prevails in a democracy. The vice president stated that he had a conversation with President Trump, during which he gave him the assurance that he would direct his government to achieve a peaceful and orderly transition, because that is what the people's right is. A subtle mention was made by Biden to the fact that Trump, in the year 2020, refused to acknowledge that he had lost the election. This week, Trump was re-elected to Congress. In the aftermath of the loss of Democratic Senator Kamala Harris to Donald Trump last week, Vice President Joe Biden addressed his supporters and the American people from the Rose Garden of the White House. A statement made by the president reaffirmed that the electoral process in the United States is honest, it is fair, and it is transparent. And you can rely on that, regardless of the outcome. In conclusion, he stated that losing does not necessarily mean that one is vanquished. He stated, "America stays the course. We're going to be okay, but we need to stay engaged." Biden finds himself in one of the worst possible positions after 10 weeks in power, to cement his promise to act as a generational bridge and to tout his signature accomplishments. He is a president who is acknowledging the loss of a race in which he was pushed out, and he is getting ready to be replaced by a man whom he has portrayed for years as an existential threat to democracy in the United States. Biden's mood in the Rose Garden, however, belied the pain that he was experiencing, even if those devastating forces are weighing heavily on him. On the other hand, Biden sounded optimistic rather than pessimistic in an effort to reassure Americans who were concerned about the possibility of another term for Trump, even though his own legacy is still up for debate. "Setbacks are unavoidable, but giving up is unforgivable," the president said in the Rose Garden during his first public remarks since Trump's triumph over Kamala Harris for the position of vice president. "As my father would say, the measure of our character is how quickly we get back up after being knocked down. This is something that all of us experience." When he stepped out of the Oval Office, he was greeted by a swarm of staff members and members of the cabinet who clapped for him as he entered the garden. "Campaigns are games of competing visions," the author writes. "One or the other option is selected by the nation." He made it clear that he was okay with the outcome of the election by saying, "We accept the choice that the country made." Remember, Biden emphasized, a loss does not necessarily mean that we have been defeated. The battle was not won by us. Your dreams of living in the United States of America are beckoning you to get back up. During his remarks, Vice President Biden made a conscious effort to support the sanctity of the election and to appreciate the victory that Trump achieved as a result of the election. Both Biden and Harris admitted defeat and extended their congratulations to Trump within the span of a single day. Additionally, efforts are currently being made to bring the previous and now future president to the White House, which is something that Trump has never done in the 4 years that have passed since his loss to Biden. In his speech, Vice President Biden made a number of subtle similarities to the non-transition that occurred 4 years ago. He listed the actions that he was taking that were never presented to him when he defeated Donald Trump. He also used the moment to once again push back on questions of election integrity after years of false allegations from his predecessor, and now his successor also hoped that we can put an end to the question about the integrity of the American electoral system, it was noted by Biden. "Whether you win or lose, you can trust it because it is honest, it is fair, and it is transparent,"